And I want us to welcome Carolina, who has just joined us now to walk us through the global consultation for FinEquity 2023. Carolina, I know you're just out of an important meeting, and I am so grateful you've taken the time. We have such a committed technical advisory committee, as we were able to see over the past 2 days. So for everyone here today, I think Carolina definitely does not require too much introduction, but for those who don't know her, she's the former Minister of Social Development of Peru, and she's currently a member of Peru's Fiscal Council at the Ministry of Economy and Finance in Peru. She's also a member of FinEquity's Technical Advisory Committee and of FinEquity ALC's Regional Advisory Group. She knows this community inside out. She's a founding member, and that's one of the reasons we've asked her to help us walk through the global consultation today. Thank you, Carolina, for being here.
Thank you, Aude. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So if we move to the next portion, really, I just want to say, what is it that we mean when we say global consultation? Basically, this is going to be designed as an interactive session that Carolina will be walking us through with a lot of voting. And the idea is really that you help us determine, what should be FinEquity's future directions? What should be our strategy for the next 2-3 years? This session really serves as the launch of FinEquity's forward-looking strategic planning exercise. Before we start, FinEquity has 3 current themes, which are on gender transformative solutions, digitally enabled financial inclusion, and impact pathways. These current themes would develop through a consultative process, and we're not saying that we're wrapping them up, but we want to see, what are some things that, we've explored already and we should move on, and what are some of the new areas that we should now turn and focus on. So Carolina, I'm turning this over to you to walk us through the consultative process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aude. Happy to be here. Great to see a lot of familiar faces here. And this is the magic of FinEquity. It's a member-based organization, and we want to really have your opinions and have you telling us what are the main topics we should be paying more attention to, what are the things we already know and maybe we should let go and keep moving to really answer the right questions to help all of us to not only understand better the issues, but to really move ahead and find the right solutions. So this session will be ask you to participate, to vote in different questions. And so we will please go to the Slido pool, scan the QR, please, and we will begin. We will have questions for you, short questions, very simple, 5 questions. And then what we will be asking you is please to rank in each question what of the options have the higher priority in your agenda in terms of future work in this coming year, and what has the lowest priority. So then we could begin watching how to move all our community efforts to really put our minds in the things that are in the high priority. So why don't we go to the first question, Aude, and the question will come out in the slide.
You should see it on your devices or on your phone if you've clicked on the QR code. You will see it
in the QR. Phone. So the first question is, which major contextual forces and/or settings that are shaping opportunities for women's financial inclusion should we collectively explore? And here are the 4 options. So please assign 4 to the highest priority and 1 to the lowest priority. So please vote. Okay, we'll take 30 seconds more. So if anybody else wants to vote. Okay, it keeps moving. So digitalization of livelihoods is catching up climate change. So okay, if someone is having problem with the QR, there's the code is already in the chat. So please go there if you are having trouble, and then you can enter the Slido with the code. Someone is saying that the code doesn't work. Please, could we try to solve that? Are we okay with this? Now it's working?
Yeah, I think in the chat we get several comments. It's working for most people.
Okay, so let's close this first question. And for sure, there's a majority of answers showing that climate change, as we expected, is a priority issue. And taking the considerations as, for example, Barbara was saying, that's something that we need to work out and understand better. So let's move to the second question. And here we are, please vote. Which subsegments of women should we collectively prioritize to advance progress on women's financial inclusion? 5 to the highest priority, 1 to the lowest priority. Please vote. Oh, I'm so happy that we're beginning with the rural. That's my topic, but for sure, I think the others are also relevant, and we need to see how the voting goes. Okay, again, 5 to the highest priority, 1 to the lowest priority to avoid any confusions.
Yes, there are comments in the chat about the confusion.
Yeah, that's why
I'm not intuitive. Thanks for signaling that, Carolina.
Yeah, okay, we have a little bit of additional votes coming, so let's wait 30 seconds to have this. Okay, ready to close? Okay, 4 participants more are doing the ranking, so let's wait for them. 3. Okay, let's close now the voting. And what we are seeing is something that is really interesting. This growing attention to women-led SMEs and the sustained relevance of working rural and agricultural livelihoods. So this is quite good for us. It's very good input. So let's go to the third question, please. What are the levers and incentives that we should collectively prioritize to advance progress on women's financial inclusion? Again, 4 to the highest priority, 1 to the lowest priority. So please vote. Oh, this is tight. Okay, let's have 30 more seconds.
Please do type in your comments about other in the chat. That would be really helpful to give us a sense also if you have other types of ideas.
That's perfect. So please show us what others means to you, because we would really like to have this long list of other issues that we should take into account. For example, credit scoring or others. So please share those others you are saying. So, okay, we close this third question, and here difficult to really have clear view. Everything seems to be interesting or relevant for the group. So we will have to keep working in several levers and incentives. So please, let's go to the next question. The question is about what are the delivery mechanisms we should collectively prioritize to advance progress in women's financial inclusion. Again, four for the highest priority, one for the lowest priority, and please vote. Okay, let's take 30 more seconds so people will finish. Okay, it seems here that, again, all proposed mechanisms are relevant for the group, so it's going to be very difficult to concentrate in only one because it's really mixed. This is interesting. Okay, let's move to the next question. Which impact questions should we really be answering to advance progress on women's financial inclusion? So please vote. Again, four for the highest priority, one for the lowest priority. Okay, 30 more seconds. Oh, again, this is tight. This is complicated. Cannot do everything. Okay, we will close in a second. We have two more people banking. Okay, we can close this question. And yeah, for sure, the work on the livelihood conditions for women still a major topic. So So thank you for this voting, very interesting, very clear priorities around climate change, a very good call on paying more attention and more strategic attention to women-led SMEs, but also keep our focus on rural and agricultural women and their livelihoods. Very complicated, high priority to everything around actors we should work with and types of incentives. All seem to be interesting, important for different groups. Also, the types of mechanisms, G2P, wages, informal sector, seem to be important for different groups. So we will have a tough time figuring out where to put our main efforts, but for sure, keeping attention to women's livelihoods, empowerment impacts, and impacts of financial inclusion in resilience and empowerment seem to be the topics we should be attending. So given all these answers, I think we have a great material to inform the priorities of FinEquity as a global community, but also to discuss these answers at the regional levels, so we could improve our work in attending the needs of the members of this amazing and interesting community. So back to you, Aude. Thank you for giving me the chance to work with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Carolina. This is really interesting. And, you know, after 2 days speaking about the importance of the nexus between women and climate and financial inclusion, it's, you know, let's say not quite a surprise that it came up so high, but some of the other results were, you know, more surprising and interesting. I'd like to give, since we have a few minutes built in here, I'd like to give the opportunity to the floor, especially those who think that, you know, they'd like us to collectively engage on some topics that are not listed here, to please speak up. Danielle, just raise your hand and Danielle will unmute you. Please just speak up and develop if you have a theme. For example, I saw people write about financial education, credit scoring, rural financial services, etc. If you want to speak to some of these points, please just raise your hand and my colleague Danielle is going to unmute you.
Yeah, there are a couple of mentions to de-risking funds or warranty schemes that are usually not very popular in our community as valued instruments that we maybe should consider as part of the topics to discuss about.
Thanks, interesting. Danielle, has anyone raised their hand?
There we go. We just have the first person that raised their hand.
Amira, do you want to unmute yourself and speak up?
Thank you so much. I'm really excited today to participate with you. So I present myself. I'm Dr. Amira Kadour. I'm principal researcher in Inclusivate Research Center. I'm a principal researcher for inclusive and sustainable ecosystem and an expert in fintech and genderless. I'm a university professor. There is an important topic that we need urgently to work on it, which is fintech and genderless, since this male-dominated sector is increasingly and is attracting more and more investors all over the world. But regarding the past and current digital divide, we need to close this kind of divide, since I think that using the fintech industry, we can enable women or push women to use the technology. And this will serve closing the digital divides in general. But regarding financial inclusion, if we will continue to work or to establish this, if I can say, this new emerging industry with the same way as we have for the traditional financial service, we will have an important gap and we will widen the existing gaps. So we need to work to close the gender divide urgently in the fintech industry, and we need to attract investors to tailor and to design services for women. Here, women needs to be as real actor, not only as user, from policymakers to women as innovator and women as entrepreneurs. So this is my musings that I would like to share with you. And thank you so much for this questionnaire. It was very simple, clear, and insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amira. Great points. Really, really interesting, really valuable. And so please share with us in the chat anything else that you think we should consider put under our discussions under the radar of FinEquity. So Aude, back to you.
Thank you. Danielle, do we have any other person with their hand raised? Sorry if I can't see everyone.
No, not yet. Not at this moment. Oh, there we go. We do have another question from George. Go ahead,
George, please unmute yourself.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
First of all, I would like to thank SIGAP for this interesting annual conference. Briefly, I would like to ask or suggest if there are any initiatives related to the sustainability reporting within the area of microfinance and related also to the woman empowerment. If there are any sustainability related woman empowerment reporting initiatives. I know that SPTF and CERES, they had some action in this direction, but I would like to know if SIGAP is envisaging this area also, because I think we cannot underestimate the impact of climate change and climate risk within the microfinance institution, and including the corporate social responsibility that is also related to the woman empowerment. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We have time for one more question. Quint, I see your hand is up. Please unmute yourself. And really interesting point you just made. I think Sophie from SIGAP will probably be commenting on that question. Quint, please unmute yourself. This will be our last question, our last comment question.
Hi. I wanted to mention that I'm from Myanmar. Hi, Carolina. We met in Yangon. So what we're seeing in Myanmar is that there needs to be actually a real focus on merchant payment systems. That is where you unlock combination of digitization of wage digitization along with the spend use cases. And also at the same time, this is where that digitization of women's livelihood comes in. So I think it's that trinity of between the wage digitization, having pervasive merchant payment network with easy to use QR with the smartphones, and getting women livelihood to be digitized. I think that's the three key areas that I'm seeing that we need to be working on worldwide.
Thanks, super relevant point. This is really interesting, and it resonates also both with the digitization conversation we had on the previous panel and with this notion of digitization that Barbara was talking about, the kind of digitization with a human touch. Thank you very much. I want to thank you again, Carolina, for moderating, facilitating us through this process today. We heard some really interesting points from the floor and in the chat on, the importance of gender lens investing, the importance of working on data and measurement indicators, the role of women in fintech, the financial reporting on things like women's empowerment and climate change mitigation, questions around digitization, credit scoring, more work on financial education. So I think there's a lot for us to explore. I just want to say that this is really just the start of the global consultation. It's really, the idea is to get the conversation going, and over the next few months, we'll be doing more deep dives, either with specific constituents or in specific regions, to try and hear from the most voices we can within this community, to see really what are the things that we want to collectively explore. We're very much a member-led and member-driven community of practice. And so we really want to push this idea that our community of practice is helping determine what are the things we want to work on together. So with this, I want to thank you very much